Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Her Side of the Ruck. I'm Tash, and on today's episode, I will be previewing round five of the Women's Six Nations. And I'm very glad to say that I have a work-free weekend, so I can truly enjoy everything that Le Crunch has to offer. On this episode, I'll be giving a brief recap from round four of the Women's Six Nations and also previewing the round five fixtures that are taking place on Sunday, the 17th of May. Why do we call it Le Crunch? Well, it's the Grand Slam decider on the final game of round five of the Women's Six Nations between France and England, the only two teams that remain unbeaten in the Women's Six Nations. The title will come down to that final round of this competition. Oh, getting goosebumps already. I'll be discussing all of that and more on this episode of Her Side of the Ruck. Before we discuss round five, I'm going to give a brief recap from round four. I haven't done a traditional review episode as I've normally done. It's been a busy old week leading up to Ealing Trailfinders coming into the playoffs in the Champ. Trailfinders women will be coming back after the Women's Six Nations has wrapped up. So it's been a busy old week for me. So let's just do a brief recap of round four. We had some high scoring fixtures in round four, and it started off with Italy versus England, a full time score of 33-61 in the favour of the Red Roses. One of the highest number of points that Italy have scored against the Red Roses, and it is the highest number of points conceded by England in this campaign so far. But I will admit, it was a pretty suffocating start by the Red Roses. They came out of the blocks very quickly. But Italy, they stayed in the fight. They even got a try on the 79th minute. Four tries to Italy, plus a penalty try that saw Ellie Kildunn go to the sin bin. Perhaps there were some lapses in England's defence that surely John Mitchell will want his side to tighten up on coming into Le Crunch this weekend. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Italy. They've really flourished as the competition has gone on. And yes, they maybe didn't get the result that they would have wanted in round four, but it's going to take a very, very special team to beat this England side. But what the round four fixture between Italy and England showed was that Italy can really stay in the fight. I mean, I don't think that was a question. We've seen that from them before, but it also showed how quickly and efficiently the Red Roses can start, and that will be very crucial against the French in round five. For Italy, they have shown how they can excel in attack, and that is very promising for months and years to come. The round four fixture between Scotland and France ended in a 28-69 scoreline in the favour of the visitors. I didn't really expect anything less than that, but a try on debut for Scotland's ace shirt Sutcliffe, the Glasgow Warrior, locked Scotland in for a bonus point try. So not walking away in complete defeat, and it looks like Scotland bounced back at the Hive in round four. It was an improved performance for the home side in round four, but it was not enough to stop the mighty old French team. And France started very strong, very quickly, which kind of trumps the trend we've seen from them so far in this competition. It only took 42 seconds for the skipper, Mané Filau, to get over the try line right in the corner. That was a very well worked team try and a lovely finish from the captain. Filou's try set the platform for the French to go absolutely mad in attack in the first half. Scotland kind of hung in there, and the try by Sutcliffe for the losing bonus point. Well, they stayed in the fight a little bit. Some improvements from Scotland, but it's tough for them. There's been a lot of changes in their squad this year, and I think again they'll be back on building towards the cycle, towards the World Cup. I think the French partially the same, but we've got a lot of regular faces and some older faces in that French team, and they look like their attack is very structured at the minute compared to how they've used to take opportunity and often do still take opportunity in broken play, high offloading game. Now it seems to be a little bit more systematic in attack, and I think Filou's try represented that. So yes, French dominance in this game, but it's good for Scotland that they were able to walk away with 1 point. The round four fixture for France, though, showed that they actually can start fast. Yes, you did hear me correctly. The French started quickly on this occasion. Usually, they are the team that is the slow burner that ignites in the second 40. And on this occasion, they showed something a little bit different. So, potentially offers a little bit more promise to the neutral fan or the French fan going into the Le Crunch weekend, and maybe offers something different for England's analysis team in the preparation leading up to this fixture, and that France can be an attacking threat in the first half. Seems like the French have been putting their first half work rate to the test in this game and did so effectively. But as I have mentioned on previous videos, Scotland have struggled partially in defence, and losing their skipper Rachel Malcolm hasn't helped in that either. She's one of the players with the best defence work rates around the park, certainly leads by example. But a bonus point from that game is not unsuccessful. I think given the circumstances and how they performed in this competition, this outcome should be deemed as a success for the Scots. Ireland v Wales. This was the closest scoreline from round four, 33-12 to the home side. It was a confident home win for the women in green, as well as a strong defensive performance. For Wales, they failed to walk away with any points coming into round five and still linger in sixth place on the table. In round four, the Irish forwards shone brightly, as we've often seen them do in this 2026 campaign, and I'm sure they will bring that into their round five fixture as well. For Ireland, they beat Wales through sustained physicality, and yes, the women in red showed some glimpses of attacking pizzazz. They just couldn't combat Ireland's physicality and strength up front. So, yeah, improvements for Wales, but Ireland were too good up front, and that's what saw them get the win. So let's take a look at the table after round four as we come into Le Crunch weekend. England remain at the very top with only points differentiating them and France. Ireland move back into third and Italy at fourth, with Scotland and Wales in fifth and sixth respectively. So we move on to Le Crunch. Round five is the title decider between France and England. And for many rugby supporters, this is how they thought the Women's Six Nations would play out. But before the title showdown on French soil, we have Wales versus Italy and Ireland versus Scotland. Last year, Italy beat Wales with a comprehensive scoreline of 44-12. But the 2 years prior to that, it was the Welsh who came out as victors. But given the competition trends, one would expect Italy to win. However, for the Italians, they haven't found success in this competition so far away from home. The question will be, can they do it this weekend? Wales may not have won a match in this competition so far, but amongst the wider turmoil of the WRU, I think some of the issues that are taking place in the men's game, the constant up and down with whether the men's regions are going to stay alive and the performance or lack of it on the men's team on the international stage, I do think has detracted emphasis and attention on the women's national team, unfortunately. So given those wider circumstances in the union that they are a part of, I still think there are plenty of positives for Wales in this competition. They get a try bonus against the world champions in round three. That has to stand for something. And okay, they walk away with only 12 points to count for against Ireland last weekend, and nothing really that contributes to the scoreboard. However, they still got to take away the fact that their set piece has been really strong and that they did get that try bonus point against England at Ashton Gate. I think for Wales, thinking about the next World Cup cycle should be firmly in their minds. And yes, they haven't had a win yet at the time of recording this video in this preview episode, but they could do against Italy. I think, yeah, potentially it was their best chance against Scotland to get a win, and they fumbled it in those final few minutes. And if they are strong in the set piece, they could punish Italy up front. But I just think the Italians have been incredible when they've had open play. They've been very confident in attack, whether it's from deep, whether it's from short range. And I just think Wales have struggled to defend, particularly the attack from depth. So we'll see. But I hope that Wales will be on this rejuvenation to rebuild and that we see a competitive fixture between these two sides. At the end of the day, it is do or die for Wales. If they don't win, they will end up with the wooden spoon, which is that consolation. It is a prize at the end of the day, I suppose it's a metaphorical prize, but they have to pull it out of the bag this weekend and just hope that Scotland don't beat Ireland. Italy did a great job at exploiting Scotland's lapses of defence in round three. And given that Scotland beat Wales in round one, we may see a very strong attacking presence from the visitors this weekend. But as always, with these things, time will tell. I will be backing the Italians to win this one, just given current form of the visitors. That game kicks off at 12:15 p.m. GMT on Super Sunday, the 17th of May. The second game on Super Sunday is Ireland v Scotland, and these two teams are in very different positions compared to where they both were 12 months ago. We have seen a drop off from Scotland, particularly since the Rugby World Cup, where a lot of players retired because their contracts didn't get renewed, or there was a bit of a dispute between the players and the SRU, if you are aware of what happened in that time in 2025. There have been a lot of changes for Scotland since then, changes in a new head coach, lots of new young faces that have come through the pathways of the Celtic Challenge with Glasgow Warriors and Edinburgh, plus a couple of regular faces, and many players who we aren't seeing due to injury. For Ireland, they have a very well balanced squad and they have gone through some tough results in recent times and in the past, often against the French. But I will say the Irish are up there for forward pack intensity, which is something that Scotland have struggled to deal with in this 2026 campaign. Let's take a look at some of the past results in 2025. Scotland won 26-19. Ireland won the year before when they were hosting, and in 2023, when Scotland were hosting, they won the fixture. So in the last 3 years, it's always been the home side that have been victorious between these two sides in the Women's Six Nations. I do think that trend of victory will continue this weekend. I am backing the women in green to win, going off current form, the fact that they aren't depleted in terms of numbers and injury, and just how good they are up front and how strong they've been at the breakdown and defensively as well. I don't think Scotland will have as many answers to what Ireland have to offer compared to the French and the English, who are the two teams to beat Ireland. Scotland also remain without their skipper, Rachel Malcolm, who is in rehab. And there was also a prospect of the experienced backline player, Lisa Thompson, returning. But she is now out with injury again due to a pull quad. That is a shame. A shame for me as well. They're both Trailfinders women players. So they might be that they don't play in the PWR. They may not return for the rest of the season. So a shame for their countries and for their club. And I think Scotland will really miss both of particularly Malcolm, who is a stalwart leader. I'm sure she'll be there cheering on the sidelines, but it will be a big miss that she won't be leading by example on the pitch. It will just be her voice calling at the side alongside the head coach. For Ireland, they've had fewer injuries within their squad, and I guess they're peaking as well at the right time. They found their strengths and weaknesses in this competition, and they're very good at short range. They can defend from short range. And Scotland have struggled to defend the attacking presence with short ball carriers, first receiver to first receiver, and just that forward pack intensity. It seems like Scotland have not done a great job of stepping up to that. And I do think that's an area of the part that Ireland will look to exploit in this round 5 fixture. For Ireland, if they win, they will affirm their place in the top half of the table. And for Scotland, it's all about pride on the line. Can they beat Ireland away from home? That clash kicks off at 2:30 p.m. GMT. And finally, it's Le Crunch, France v England. The title all comes down to this, as it often does in this competition. I say it as it often does, but England haven't lost to France since 2018. And yes, the French only lost by 1 point last year at the Allianz in Twickenham. But since then, England have increased the score lines against the French in the pre-match Rugby World Cup fixture they played against France, and also in their semi-final on their way to becoming World Cup winners. So there's been some improvements in this contest between England and France for the Red Roses. For the French, certainly some work-ons. These are two teams that know each other very, very well. And it's a question of, could this be the year that France do it and upset the world champions? For me, obviously, I hope not. But we will see when it comes down to Le Crunch. When I've watched clashes between France and England, I always think that the French are their own worst enemy. Not just against England. I say especially against England, they're their own worst enemy. But I've seen how there are times when you've got 10 to 15-minute lapses where they let other teams in, or they take their foot off the gas, or they're just too eager. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where there's almost that too much energy and they haven't got the emotional levels right, and then they leak penalties or they make mistakes, basic ball carrying or ball handling skills. And I think that's what's let France down. Or they start too slow but finish well, but it's not enough. But what we have seen in this campaign is how excellent the French are at finishing. But the round four fixture instills a lot of hope in, I'm sure, plenty of neutral fans that they can start quickly. And I think that will be crucial against England this weekend. England will need to be tight in defence, especially given the increased points that they've given away, or I don't want to say given away because that's unfair to the other teams who work really hard to get those tries or penalties from England. But England do need to tighten up on giving away points, because if they concede penalties or they have a bit of a gap on the field, the French will certainly exploit that. And I can imagine emotions will be high. There's a title on the line, of course there will be. So England have to go make sure that their structures are really strong coming into Le Crunch. If the French get a foothold in this game, aka they score a good try, undoubtedly we will see them unleash the attacking flair and pizzazz that we know they are capable of. But the Red Roses have gone very big with their selection. At the time of recording, the French haven't named their lineup, so I'll just talk about the Red Roses. John Mitchell's gone for some very big ball carriers in his back row. Sadia Cabella, Maddie Fayanati and Abby Burton, they all start in the back row. He's also selected some amazing kicking options, the halfback pairing of Lucy Packer and Zoe Harrison. Zoe Harrison, she's been awesome off the kicking tee, and points will really matter in this competition against the French. You also got an electric back three who have torn it up in the competition so far: Claudia Maloney McDonald, Jess Breach, and Ellie Kildunn. I'll stop there by listing off names in the squad. You can check that out for yourselves, but this is a pretty glowing roster given the players that are available. And I think Mitchell's done a good job of rotating and capping a couple of new Red Roses throughout this competition. But I think as strength of teams go and who's available, he's gone big on this occasion. For France, I will expect to see Mwembe, skipper Felou, of course, our Bears and Bourdin Sue in the halfback pairing, and also the winger Anaïs Grando. She's been tearing it up in the French backline. The big rhetorical question, which I will answer myself: am I nervous for this game? Are you, if you're a Red Roses fan watching this video, are you nervous for this game against the French? Right now, at the time of recording, not really. I'm not nervous. Like England, the Red Roses, they just don't lose to the French. That could come back to bite me though. I hope that's not the case. I have been impressed, very impressed by the French, and I think they've got a lot of their structures right. I think how they defended against Ireland was a testament to what they can do. And I think if they can bring that defensive ability to the Red Roses this weekend, I think that will put them in a good position to take the title away from them. I just think the pressure is with France. They've come so close, so many times to beating England and fallen short. As for England, you might disagree and think the opposite, that the pressure is with England. They are the World Cup champions. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think England have already proven themselves. I think for me, the big wobble will be when they play the Black Ferns in WXV in the summer rather than playing France. England are so used to playing France, they know what they will bring. I just think if England stick to their systems, they will do a great job. And I'm pretty sure they will win. I think it'll be close. I think it will be closer than the Rugby World Cup and in the warm-up fixture for the Rugby World Cup will be in terms of scoreline. Maybe like 5-1 score, maybe a score and a half, I would say, between the two sides. I obviously believe that England will win both here and here. I do think the French are the only team that can really, really challenge them in Europe. I think as European countries go, the only team that will do that is the French. But obviously, I hope that for England, it's an eighth consecutive win in the Women's Six Nations. But France is always a tough place to go and play. It's on French turf. There'll be a big crowd. Everybody wants to beat England. They've set the bar, and the French, they'll be up for it. Absolutely. So I just hope everyone keeps their discipline. Well, I don't want to see loads of yellow cards. And I fear that with such an emotional amplitude around this game, we could see a few cards, the ref go into the pocket. I hope we don't see that. I just hope we see some really bloody brilliant rugby. But I also hope that we see another England win. That game kicks off at 4:45 p.m. GMT, and all of those games will be live on BBC Sport if you're watching in the UK on Sunday, the 17th of May. The final question is, though, who will be crowned the Queens of the Six Nations? Will it be England or will it be France? Well, we will find out on Sunday, the 17th of May. I will be firmly sat on my sofa, attached to my laptop screen, watching all of these games. And I am really excited to see the final round of the Women's Six Nations 2026 unfold this weekend. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Slightly different format to how I normally do these videos. And if you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Also, if you're new to the page and you want to be part of our community, please hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos that come from her side of the ruck. I'm Tash. I hope you have a fabulous Super Sunday, and I will catch you in a review episode, hopefully to say that England are crowned champions once again, but we'll see. Time will tell. If you have any thoughts, as always, please let me know down in the comments section. I love hearing from you. But that's all I've got time for on this episode of Her Side of the Ruck. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.